I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All Complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CT Review. Today is April 11, Friday, 2025. Hope you had a good day and a good week here. So yesterday we were talking about most likely today being buys, right? So however this looked like, but ended up coming down into the wick for today, and then we buying up. Now we didn't get all this obviously, but we did get from down here to like up here, right here, where it's kind of like where we are, all in one movement. They did a shakeout day, and then it made sense to kind of buy for the pull back down from the seller. So everybody wants to sell, right? For as far as pretty much traders goes, but then when it comes to, I wouldn't say that. I mean, in general speaking, most people are buying and want to buy these levels. So they want to push up. They got Trump talking about tweets and pushing up and buy the market now and all that. You know, could have mentioned it yesterday, but so look how they did this real quick, very simple. I wouldn't say simple, but at the same time, the range is here. When we made low yesterday, we made that high, and then said it was at the end of the video that it was looking like it was going up. What did they do? Asia brought it down, never took that low out. These guys, these are the last people in the market here for buyers. Squeeze out everybody here. Push up for another higher high, and then higher low, right? In general. So look at the price action. It's sitting in this area. So like you're retracing back. They put this low in London right here. And then you can see it's a lower high is being created. Pretty much 830 is the fake move here. And then they come out and squeeze everybody. So in a shakeout day, technically this day could have just stayed doing this shit. Like, you know, shaking out meaning come down, come up, come down, come up. And then, you know, in big little swings. Today they had an intention to end up breaking out of that area, obviously. And that's very key. And you'll see I'm only interested in move 1 or 2 or 3, right? So in this case, we're buying up. We're still buying. We're still looking for buys, but look how we're beyond the defense. Comes low, buys. Comes low, buy. Comes low, buys, right? So the intention is still buying, right? And it's just trying to make it all tough and pretend like they're going to keep going. You don't get order flow once you get this break. So 930 is here, right? The 830 pushes it up, squeezes. You could tell it's a high resistance day. So it comes back in, they're pre-930 almost. That's that fake move swing down. And then coming up, you can to look at the algorithmic level. We're still using this bearish imbalance. Remember that, right? That daily, this is still the bottom one, which is the April 4th. So Friday. So see that, you see the opening day gap and the midnight level are already on 50% of that bearish daily imbalance. Look at that. To show you to proof more that we're still using that from previous, you got to watch yesterday's video. Then you'll see that we're in there, right? So we're in there. Body right there stops. Look at that. We're coming in. We're tested. We're here. Come, closing open. Boom. Shoots down for here. What is it doing? Doesn't take out that low. And this is also the bottom level. Look at tagging it twice. So taking this buy here was good to push up. I'm on an oversold here. I got a divergence. Very tough and difficult though. Oh, sorry. This is probably... It's very tough and difficult though. So you see as they jamming the lower low. Look at the 3 lows right there. After even doing these 2, and who's everyone's terrified to buy this, obviously because you got the low. But today that wasn't the case. The first move was obviously the bomb, and then you see a fake move up and then a fake dump. So this, I consider this day like a buy, sell, buy. So it's a buy, sell, buy. So in this case, it's really a shakeout, right? You can see the speaker here, right? You see lows and highs, right? But okay, let me try to focus here. So the point is that we understand that this is algorithmic level, right? And they're tagging it twice here. I feel like I'm missing something. So these guys right here, plus that low, they're building that little higher lows and still making lower highs. Let me kind of squinch out real quick on purpose. You can see here, and by the way, we come up to the high yesterday. Well, we did this in Asia, right? Almost London. You can see we tapped the 930 level really. See that really the 930 level is the same exact level as that high. See that? You can see it to the right, right? While I'm hovering it. And then you got the first imbalance as well. We couldn't get above it first. That's also algorithmic. So they obviously they came up to, they're giving you the direction here already. So this is what I'm really trying to say. Low, high, higher low, That's a higher high, so we're busting up. In some cases, this can retrace back up just to sell back off. But in this case, it's kind of not like the situation. It still can be, and we'll get into that. I can't really talk about that right now. But the point is I'm showing you that that's a high, that's a higher low, or we'll just say a low, and then you make a lower high. Then you make this low and a high, but then you make this low. So forget that internal shit. So this extreme here, right? Then it pops up again. Doesn't break that. Then they induce this low inside. There's so much to say. I'm going to freak out right now. Hold on. I didn't even want to do this video, but I want to do it for this algorithmic delivery. So anyways, tapping it, get the 2 down candles, tapping it, you get a push up inside, internally. That's an internal high and an internal low of the range from the high and the low right there. And then, boom, you get the order flow there again. Up, push up, retraces back to that 930 level. Got the first imbalance. See the body's respecting it. Yes, it stretches. Little 3 miniature drives right there. You see that? But the body stay here, then it pushes up. Boom, where are we going? Well, we're going for 3 drives. Push up 1, this little baby one, right here. Push up 1, baby, retrace. Push up 2, retrace, same level, support. Oh, breakout level, that's a breakout level right there. And short-term support with this 905 1 minute candle. Drag that out, see how it's sitting on top of that? We're also at the opening range gap. So when we dump, it's a fake dump. So also a dump and pump at this moment. I know I'm saying a lot of different things, but it's a logic. And so we push up and we squeeze, and then we get a final drive here. Take this trade from here to here and get out, literally. Now, got that projected. Why? Why is that? Because I got these 2 candles projected. Look at the 1 and 1.5 right here. Look at what's this level that I'm highlighting here? That's the bearish imbalance daily. The highs, and they're running over it. They're trying to be incognito, but they're running over it. They're doing the same thing here. Made a video recently about this. They're squeezing up. They're getting into this wick. When you buy this, take this buy. Again, we're looking for buys. So this is natural. We're looking for this buy, and obviously we would like for it to come up. But it's Friday, and this is going to be really the factor of the entire day is that the market's tired. It doesn't want to fuck around. It's telling you go home. It's telling you go to golf. All right, relax and leave. Are there moves? Yes, but you're going to have to play it like a high resistance day where it's shaking out. Push it up, doesn't squeeze this high. Watch this. So just to show you, I'm only going to do this to show you the proof of what I'm saying. Right here, up here in the bottom left, I got this window. I got this 19,000 question mark. I still take the trade, right? Look I got a divergence there, which is no big deal, but it's oversold. The RSI was actually pretty nice in the beginning of the day. Usually after about 10:30, it doesn't work too well. And I say this all the time in the videos. But look, this is oversold here. Then we popped up, overbought. Bink, right there. Tags it. Then what does it do? Comes down. You see this right here? Yes, that says oversold. You would think it'd keep going up. It's not even 9:30 yet. It doesn't matter. But this is a signature of where it goes 3 drives from here, in a way. But if you look at this imbalance here, right here, you see, I'm gonna drag it out, right? You see how we come underneath it, and then we use it as support. See that the middle? See how the middle is right there with these candles right there? See this? See how I'll do it this way. See that middle? See how it came underneath? Bam, right there. See how we come underneath? This is failing. This buy is failing, right? That's what this means. Also referencing that center, this black hole for the beginning of the day. The AM session was going to chop around and play around, and then eventually London and then lunch was going to now continue it forward because they already came back, which I'll show you in a second. But out of all the moves today, this is what mattered to me. This is the trade that matters. Why? Because I'm catching move 1. This little fake push, this push down is just to add liquidity and get this guy out right here. Make them not want to buy, and then makes also induce people to buy. But look on the 15, very clean. Look at the bodies on the previous in London or whatever time this was right here. See this low right here? You see how the bodies are sitting right on top of it. You see it bouncing right there. You see that? See that? So it's literally letting you know. This for me is very visual and alerting for triggering a trade, right? Again, hard trade, but I know it's like that. You even if you took a loss trying to catch this, it's no big deal. Why? Because of the fact that, well, you got this drive here, baby drive here. I mentioned that in the previous example, or pushing up here, like this baby drive up, second drive, third drive. I'm literally screenshotting it at 9:54. We're getting into the 3.5 to 4 from originally measuring this first down candle. I do that first because I use that as a general, let's just say, more refined guarantee or something, or of an expansion from that candle. Now, once you highlight both, now you're talking like more of a longer term swing after we come down and did this and that, right? Whatever. It's just conversation, right? But that's the case. And you're stuck in this wick. Look how I'm taking the picture in the wick, right? So it's like it can reject from here. You're at a 3.5 to 4. You have to be content. You have to take the profit. You don't need to hit home run. And the reason why I'm circling this 19,000 level is because of the fact that at the end of all the chaos today, are we going to end up probably being there? Why? Well, I put 19,000 for a big figure number. Obviously, yesterday, remember, we hit this 18,000 level. You can see that right there. See this? Highlighting the 18,000 level, the numbers right here. See this? So 18.5 is kind of like where we've been in the middle of this chaos. So the next 500 increment up is 19,000. Again, the reason why I have a question mark, and we're probably not going to reach it, but we're going to probably get close. And that was the logic. And what's funny is we might shoot up right now at this time, but it's definitely probably over. We'll see. But maybe 18,900 by the end of this video. We'll see. I don't know. But that's another 60 points from now. So the day's over, the week's over. The markets, they're telling you, it's like, all right, bro. It's like, yo, get out of here. So again, we don't know if it's going to go up or go down, but we have the intention of buying today. So we'll show you the swings. And then obviously it's also referencing this area here, right? The 50% of that gap. We end up coming a little bit more and squeezing. We're also, keep in mind when I'm taking this, you see I'm highlighting this last down candle. This is on the 15-minute. You can see the 2 to 2.5 is right here. We've been knocking in already. So we've already hit it with there at that high, right? See, that's not a coincidence, right? So retrace back, and then it's compressing. It's like it's getting real tight. You'll see later in the day. But in a day like this, you don't need to overstay your welcome. But that's why I don't expect it to reach here because of the so much movement that we've had. Okay, I'm being a dead horse. Okay, so as this is these little 3 candles down, look when this candle whipped all the way back, stayed in that wick. That's the same principle. That's an entry mechanism as well. That's for sure I'm getting in, and then as we pop up, we retrace back deep. I'm putting my stop loss here and leaving it this way on purpose, just so you could see that low right there. Yes, I don't care about having to trail it for you or on a picture or whatever. I know exactly where it is, and I'm not worried about the stop loss. I'm not letting the price isn't coming all the way back here, that I'm letting it happen, right? But overbought here twice on purpose. See that? Knocking. See that? Getting in here and then done. 3.5 to 4. You can see the first imbalance does hold. The bodies, look at the bodies in the bottom. They end up holding. And that's a little 3 drives thing right there. Boom, sweeps at 930. I mentioned that. Body stays there, pushes up, bounces right there. Look at that candle. Bounces right there on that fucking 50% of even the opening range gap now is also at 50%. I mean, dude, that's like, that's like heaven, especially when you're crossing this level. But what's it called? I think I'm missing something here. Am I? No. Everything's stacked. Midnight level. 50% of their bearish daily imbalance. The fucking daily gap. 50% of the opening range gap. All right. So cool. All right. So let's go. Doesn't look like looks like they've died. Oh, they won't make it. See, we got as high as what? as 18,873, real close to the 900, but that was the point. See, when I have the question mark, it's like, okay, well, how did they do it? They did it in the PM. Well, not in the PM. They did it crossing over into lunch here, right? So, okay, real quick. So that's that, right? Guess what? Starts to fail. That's that same candle, bro. That's that 954. It was a bold-faced blue candle. So guess what? That's a possible sell. I'm not involved, but sells down. Breaks, comes right back to the first imbalance, tags it right there, right? Then pops back up. See, at this point, you don't know. You think they're inducing this. You think it's going to keep buying right here. But you have a very high chance of it sweeping because of the fact that they're shaking out. And they want to get to that low. Remember that low right there that we talked about? That was always in the cards, right? And also what was in the cards? That guy right there. See, they let him survive. They didn't take him out, but they fucking put it, they came to him at a point. Why did they do that? This is why you have to understand logic with this. Because when this bought up, you see how the price comes down here first. Then swing, pushes down. Everything is down underneath this low. Then, when you get this bullish candle, look how they start to speaker out there and they fan out on the 50-minute. You see that? You can see that, right? See how they fan out right there? And then, boom, it immediately becomes a high and a higher low. A high and a higher low. And we never break that. There is people waiting just for this, right? And then they carry, right? Why do you think they came all the way back to that guy? And they didn't shoot him. They let him live right there, this guy. All right, but everything else is pretty much gone, right? But you see it's getting congested, right? It's getting tight in here. Look, you can see it. You can see it. It feels like it goes a direction. If it was gonna be down, I should be seeing order flow here, right? And if that happened, I would be bearish. I would be like, yo, well, this thing is a sell by sell then. It's gonna keep coming down for a leg here. But guess what? No. So it comes back in here. Okay, so before I get too carried away, I got this measured here. You see this right here? Right. So even when it came down, even hit a 1 and 1.5, I want to be involved with taking a trade out or getting into a trade when it's at these levels of extensions. For example, now I've got this here to here. I've already showed you the 3.5 to 4, and then I changed it to the 2 candles. You can see the 1 and 1.5. We're sitting in here. Okay, so we come back down. We hit there. We come and squeeze these motherfuckers out. Last up candle, right almost to the close, and then guess what? They induce these two highs. It's looking like it's gonna buy right here. Look at that, and then they sink it. Breaks right there. This does not mean we're bearish. This just means that we know that they're gonna sweep this, and the shit that I just told you to the left here comes down to 2 to 2.5. So there's 1 and 1.5 here. It doesn't hit that, and then here it just blows through. So you got 3 drives here. 1, 2, 3. Boom. As soon as it tags out, that's another buy. I end up buying this too. And where'd I take this? I'm squeezing it up. I don't know if it's going to break these highs, but I do know it's going to come up and squeeze to get them out. And then they do this scamming thing right here. I'll get to that in a second. So here, it's a 2 to 2.5. I know where it is to the left. This is obvious. Look how the candles are very strong. They're straight. They're thick. They're kind of like, it's very obvious, kind of in a way. So you get this push up right here. Boom, you break that high right there. And then this candle wicks down and it closes right there. Just 1032. See that? That is already showing a break going to sweep up. For the price to keep going up. Just a leg. Okay, cool. And then higher lows. And then boom right here. It opens up and pretty much ready to bounce right on the 50% of the first imbalance. And then boom, comes up. Wicks does this. Now we're in a 1 to 1.5, right? So if I took this anywhere here, that's an entry, that's an entry, that's an entry, that's an entry, that's an entry. Well, if you're taking this 1 to 1.5, obviously you know that the goal is to get back to this fucking black hole. We know that much too, right? So, okay, comes in, then it plays around right here. Then they do this at 11 o'clock, super scamming. This was still the same leg up, but they did it like this. They pretend like it was selling. Look how they pretended like it was selling. Got into that imbalance. Fake getting into that level of the black hole, plus the daily gap. Let's focus on the daily gap too, and the opening range gap too. But anyways, they fake it down. They come here just to squeeze out some buyers here, and then they do this. This is scamming. This is like why I don't want to be involved anything after 10:50. I'm going to say it like that. That's why I don't want to be involved unless it's like 11 o'clock and the area is good, and then I'm going to catch the next trade for a retrace the other way or something. Depending on where that London close is, right? But they wick it real quick. I mean, it was instant. It was so bogus. It's like not even fair, dude. It's literally a scam, right? But that's what they did, and it's still kind of what I want to have. And look, they squeezed here. Anybody that was so slick to have push sell here and saw these lower highs and these are failed lower highs. So boom, they wicked it and they brought the price down and then they locked it. This is what locking looks like. Then they locked it. Actually, on the 30-second, it stopped here. Go do the research. I already know. But then they locked it here, and then you have to push. If you're like trying to sell this or something, I'm not saying you should. I'm just talking. But the only way you would be involved is if you just. Why does it do that? You just push sell here. Any of these lower highs. See how its drives are coming down. Boom. All right. Now we get here. What did they do here? Remember. So then I measured this wick. Just a wick only. It's the only way I can measure this correctly in my view. Is the wick, not the candle, just the wick. And then you can see 1 on 1.5 is here. You don't expect 2 to 2.5. Now, when this is selling here, okay, so this is move 1. I caught 1. I didn't catch 2 for the sell. I caught 3 though, from here to here and squeezed out. Squeeze it out. Wicking, see that? That's move 3 at the least, right? And then with the extra 11 o'clock raid, that's really the final 3. Okay? And then what does it do? Comes back for 4. What is 4 doing? 4 is wiping out these fucking buyers. So it's a higher low here. And this is also indicative that we're going to be making a higher low to then push through. We're still bullish. The bias is still there. That's why I said the 19,000 level from the beginning, right? So if that's the case, I understand that you're playing defense and you're buying these lows, right? But they're just being assholes. It's pretty simple, right? It would have been nice to just fucking 9:30 just keep going. That would have been great. But again, it's Friday, and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. For also the reason of we've just moved so much. It's like, okay, bro. It's like get it, go do something else. They're like, get off our dick. They're just like, quit playing with us. Go do something else, But, and then, okay, that next move. So it came to squeeze. Oh, where did it come? As we get the drives here, ticks, right? And they're just getting into this guy right here. Because this candle right here, this 10:30, also, remember I mentioned this in the previous videos, the 10:15 to 10:30, its time frame, you'll see a reversal here. Because this is now 10:30. Look at the candle. It's literally 10:30. And then boom, takes off, right? But it's the logic of the area of where it is at the time too. And you understand that in this whole scheme of price, we have a high, we have lows, and we're dancing in these areas. So if I was to highlight it, so this makes sense, this is kind of like your playground here. How do I do this? This whole area, as you see, you see that, like it's just around each other. It's just constantly being around each other, right? So it's tight. It's in the same area. Yeah, they bust out, but it's just logic of where this low is. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean it's a break and it's going to keep going or anything like that. We're already trying to buy. So you want to come up and wipe out some sellers and maybe possibly go up. And I'm saying all this to say this. The logic is also that we want to see maybe a double top. Let's just say it doesn't get any higher than this. This is the lower high. Well, if it came down to wipe out these buyers, then I'm assuming we're coming up, and that's why I said today would probably be a buy. We're coming up to wipe out people who just sold. So this thing can come all the way up here, stop here, sell off, or it can come up higher. I feel like it's gonna double top for real. Like it's just gonna come up higher and then fucking roll over here this way. Or we can maybe go above. Either way, that means we're looking for buys today if we're expecting it to come up. Logical, right? Okay, cool. Okay, so now you get the 101.5. We sit in there, we come back. I measure the wick, 101.5 here too. Oh, wow. So now we're stuck in the, when you look at this, can you tell where the price is going? Looks like it's doing both. At this point, highs here, got lows here, high there, low there. That's what I mean by the price is like around itself. Like these are like these zones of price action is like where it's locked or it's coming back to. Like for example, we made these lows. Okay. By the time it took off, there's a level here. There's like a level here that's like, okay, this is where the buying area is. That's why we bounce like right here. And we push up. Okay, once we make these highs, we're constantly in this area. Look at the area. The area is constantly where we are to then sell off. And then what does the algorithm do? It references back to that same area that I just told you here. In this case, they want it to come lower and sweep it. So now, if I have this area here, you see this price of action is the lowest part of this area. When we buy it, and I'm taking it out here, why am I taking it out here? Because we're squeezing up all the sellers to the left. And then it would be kind of like bouncing into, it's coming right into there. You see how we wipe, they did that with the wick and that was dirty. And that's just to wipe out people. Okay, so then when it comes back down, and we're here now, where does it back to? It's right back to that same area. You see what I'm saying? It's really the candle. You know, I could have put a line on the candle of this down candle or whatever, but really you would want to use this imbalance. They really just came in to tap that because this 1030 candle just pushed right through and somebody pushed buy right there. They see the momentum. That's how I got it. When this was instantly wicked down and literally catching it while it's crossing over and it's gone. But that's why it's coming back. It's coming back because the motherfuckers who's slick. So now you're like, okay, well, what the hell is gonna go on? At this point, they're playing a trick on you, and they want you to quit. And hi, thank you. It worked for me. I quit. I don't need to fuck with y'all. I'm not playing with y'all. The goal is to, and that's why I don't want to trade past 11 o'clock or 10:30 because of the fact that I've already got move 1, 2, and 3 before 11 o'clock. Why do I need to wait for 4 and 5 and see what it's going to end up doing, especially on a Friday? I hope that makes sense for you. Okay, so then I got to be done. High, low, break, retraces deep into the wick. Look into the wick, into that wick. That's a high, that's a buy. Okay, if you don't do that, you can wait for a pop up. Retrace back into that candle. That's a buy too. Then it becomes a buy because it starts to slither. We're trying to go a direction. So eventually it's going to do that, right? But by here, people are like, oh, it's selling. It's just coming down. It looks all tough like it's trying to sell. Look at this. Looks like it's like, oh yeah, it looks like it's coming down, right? That's a trick. It's just a raid. So measure this swing that it breaks here and then it pops up. Obviously, if you take this buy, you know your minimum goal is the first imbalance plus this black hole. We talked about it all this time. So that's a 101.5 sitting right there. Oh, it blows through. Where does it go? Right to the 2 to 2.5. Oh, that's a nice exit too if you want to get out. But guess what? This is still buying. Why? This wick, this was just unfair. And then they pretend like they're gonna be fair by coming up here, and then this 50% ends up being used as like as an inversion wick, meaning we start, it's like an imbalance and we come above it and we buy from it. So they had the intention of look how we came to the 2.5, came right back. Look at the body sitting in the black hole, right? Fucking beautiful. And then starts to buy off slowly, higher highs and higher lows, fans this way, pops up. Oh, we get to reach the 3.5 to 4 when I measure this swing here. Look at that. And then also with this projection, this is the lowest projection, 2 to 2.5 right there. Ooh, we got that high. Now we're gonna get to the 930, but before they do it again. They pull it back just to pretend, just to fake you out and make you think that it's gonna sell like it did here. But in reality, now this has become support. Got an equal low here. They do this shit on purpose, and then pops up, breaks out, gets to up here. Oh, look at this projection here. 3.5 to 4. We finally hit it. Look at this. It's almost, look at this high. It's like a tick away, or 2, or whatever it is, right there. Then it retraces where? Where do you think this retraces? Where do you think this retraces? Breakout level. Look at that. Look at this 1230 candle. Pops right through. See that? It's an imbalance. You don't have to. If you sold this, because look how it comes down and then it pops up deep. This is to get your ass out. And strong motherfuckers are holding this. Just like the situation here with these two highs right here. Same story is what's going on right here. And I knew that was happening. Popped up, fake, all tough. Boom. You get the second and third drive. This first, the first one is the decoy, then the second and the third. That kind of happened over here too. Kind of like where am I, dude? I can't get into that. I gotta be done. So it pops up. Then it comes back. Okay, breakout level. But what is this level here? What is that? That's the bearish daily imbalance. This is perfect. Bounced right on top of that bitch. All right, made a new high. Higher lows breaking out, going to where? Squeeze more people to the left. And they got this guy now. See that? They got these guys. 930 and this guy. See these two guys? So, and then pulling back in, right? All right, day's over. I have made this video fucking way too long for a Friday, dude. Why? 31 minutes. All right, and then dollar also pushing down. I was mentioning that yesterday. It broke through even more. And there you go. So that I was saying that we would most likely be buying if we saw dollar coming down like that. And they did. So there's that. And then I'm not even doing that. And then same story with everybody else. Everybody just with the wicks too. I was gonna mention also that the wicks. If you look at the wicks here on the 4 hour, especially look at so the wicks, all these wicks right here, they're also showing you that it's exhausted on the downside. They're building liquidity. Don't get me wrong, but it's showing you that where the bodies are. The bodies are more up here. See that? So, and we saw these wicks before our session started, right? So and you could see that's why they're reasoning for more buys, and the logical situation here. So they pulled it back for till about 11 o'clock London close, and then they got into lunch, and then they just kept taking off. See that? They just kept taking off. So everybody else had that situation pretty much. So you can see that. That's showing strength, right? But we got some, like I said, we got some room to still pop up. We got a Dow, got a gap right there. No price action in it. I don't even need to draw it, but I guess I could do that. Obviously. What's it called? So when I get into the macro, I can see us popping up again just to, get out more of the breakout levels or whatever. Unless it does not go any higher and we do a double top, and I'll show you in a second what I mean. And look at Dow. This is the reason why I don't trade Dow. This is it right here. Look at this. Low. Why would you want to trade this, bro? I mean, you can do it because, as a retail trader, we used to catch shit like this and it was with Dow, where it's just like, it's constantly sitting at the same level. We'll buy it. You know what I mean? Like, we'll still buy it. But today I don't want to buy it. I don't want to play with these people. Look at that shit. Very clear why I don't trade Dow there. Again, same reason I don't have to go through anything else. And, you got a nice gap right there too, right? So they got their gap, and there's no price action inside here. So I don't need to draw it. Okay, let me be done, and let me show you what I want to talk about for next week real quick. And as you see, we're popping up. When we gapped up, we came down first, so they were playing around, but then we're slowly kind of popping up. So I like this area here. Just wipe out that high. So it's kind of like a 3 drive situation. We're popping up, either going to come in here or come into here. I'm assuming that's going to be the case. But if we're real heavy and we make another lower high, which I don't think, then this is some type of double top. If the double, okay, you get what I'm saying. All right, so the double top I'll do it here. Well, this is nice to see it too, I guess. Right here. No, I want to come back here on the weekly. So like for example, this week closes, right? So now you notice that it tapped in there. So the next week, all right. So I'm thinking Monday and Tuesday will either push up, all right, to get in here, take out the previous week, or it does not, and you get these constant lower high on the weekly candles, lower high. You see how they're coming down? The next one, does it take it out or not? I think it's just going to pop up and then maybe roll over to come down and get back into this breakout area where they were bogus and didn't let nobody in. You got a 2 to 2.5, assuming that we don't break this high. But so this is kind of what I'm saying. It's either gonna barely pop up, somewhere here, or maybe even here, and then come back down. All right, so that's idea one. Or we go through it, and then we come down. All right, that's it. I mean, I don't see us gapping and taking them first for Monday and Tuesday, and another bullish week. Well, now that I think about it, I mean, it could, but I mean, like, I think coming back down would still make sense, even if we go up again. Be like a swing high. So I want to see Monday and Tuesday. I would like to see Monday and Tuesday pop up and kind of get this, and then we turn into a bearish week. I've said enough. You guys take care. Have a good weekend. God bless.